औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। प्यारे व्यूवर्स, उम्मीद करता हूँ आप तमाम दोस्त सब खैरियत से होंगे। अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त आप तमाम दोस्तों को अपनी रहमत के सदक़े सेहत वाली लंबी ज़िंदगी अता फ़रमाए। मेरी आप तमाम दोस्तों से गुजारिश है कि मेरे इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लें, घंटी और लाइक के बटन को दबा दें ताकि मेरी नई आने वाली वीडियो आप तक पहुँच सके। पुलिस इंक्वायरी के हवाले से आज ये हमारा आखिरी सेशन है। सेक्शन 174, 175, 176। तो इसके बाद हम ये पुलिस इंक्वायरी का चैप्टर क्लोज हो जाएगा। पुलिस to inquire on suicide etc. The officer in charge of the police of a police station or some other police officer specially empowered by the provincial government in that behalf on receiving information that a person has committed suicide or has been killed by another or by an animal or by machinery or by an accident. कोई शख्स खुदकुशी करता है या कोई बंदा उसे मार देता है या कोई जानवर उसे मार देता है या कोई मशीनरी से मर जाता है या किसी एक्सीडेंट में मशीनरी के एक्सीडेंट में मारा जाता है। सी हैज़ डेड अंडर circumstances raising reasonable suspicion that some other person has committed an offence shall immediately give intimation thereof to the nearest magistrate empowered to hold inquest and unless otherwise directed by any rule prescribed by the provincial government shall proceed to the place where the body of such deceased person is and there in the presence of two or more respectable inhabitants of the neighborhood shall make an investigation and draw up a report of the apparent case of death describing such wounds, fractures, bruises and other marks of injury as may be found on the body and stating in what manner or by what weapon of instruments if any such marks appears to have been inflicted. Number 2, the report shall be signed by such police officer and other persons or by so many of them as concur therein and shall be forthwith forwarded to the concerned magistrate. Number 3, when there is any debate regarding the cause of death or when for any other reason the police officer considers it expedient so to do, he shall subject to such rules as the provincial government may prescribed in this behalf forward the body with a view to its being examined to the nearest civil surgeon or other qualified medical man appointed in this behalf by the provincial government if the state of the weather and the distance admit of its being so forwarded without risk of such petrifaction on the road as would render such examination useless. Number 4, omitted by AO 1949. Fifth, the magistrates of the first class are empowered to hold inquests Section 174A, grievous injury by burns. Number 1, where a person grievously injured by burns through fire, kerosene, oil, acid, chemical, or by any other way is brought to a medical officer on duty, designated by the provincial government for this purpose, or such incident is reported to the officer in charge of the police station. Such medical officer on duty or as the case may be, officer in charge of a police station shall immediately given intimation thereof to the nearest magistrate. Simultaneously, the medical officer on the duty shall record the statements of the injured person immediately on arrival so as to ascertain the circumstances and cause of the burns injuries. The statement shall also be recorded by the magistrate in case the injured person is still in a position to make the statement. Number 2, the medical officer on duty or as the case may be, the magistrate before recording the statements under subsection 1 shall satisfy himself that the injured person is not under any threat or duress. The statement so recorded shall be forwarded to the sessions judge and also to the district superintendent of police and officer in charge of the police station for such action as may be necessary under this code. Number 3, if the injured person is unable for any reason to make the statement before the magistrate, his statements recorded by the medical officer on duty under subsection 1 shall be sent in sealed cover to the magistrate or the trial court. If it is other than the magistrate and may be accepted in evidence as a dying declaration if the injured person expires. Section 175. Power to summon person. A police officer proceeding under section 174 may by order in writing summon two or more persons as aforesaid for the purpose of the said investigation and any other person who appears to be acquainted with the facts of the case. Every person so summoned shall be bound to attend and to answer duly all questions other than questions the answers to which would have a tendency to expose him to a criminal charge or to a penalty or forfeiture. Number 2, the facts do not disclose cognizance offense to which section 170 applies. Such persons shall not be required by the police officer to attend a magistrate court. सेक्शन 176 पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन के हवाले से ये हमारा आखिरी मरहला चल रहा है। ये 176 आखिरी सेक्शन है। उसके बाद हम फिर अगले 177 पढ़ेंगे। Inquiry by magistrate into cause of death. When any person dies while in the custody of the police, the nearest magistrate empowered to hold inquests shall and in any other case mentioned in Section 174, Class A, B and C of subsection 1, any magistrate so empowered may hold an inquiry into the case of death either instead of or in addition to the investigation held by the police officer, and if he does so, he shall have all the powers in conducting it which he would have in holding an inquiry into an offence. The magistrate holding such an inquiry shall record the evidence taken by him in connection therewith in any of the manners hereinafter prescribed according to the circumstances of the power to number 2 power to disinter corpus whenever such magistrate considered it expedient to make an examination of the dead body of any person who has been already interred in order to discover the cause of his death. The magistrate may cause the body to be disinterred and examined. Power to number 2 power to disinter corpus whenever such magistrate considered it expedient to make an examination of the dead body of any person who has been already interred in order to discover the cause of his death. The magistrate may cause the body to be disinterred and examined. प्यारे व्यूअर्स, आखिर में मैं आप तमाम दोस्तों का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं जिन्होंने मेरी इस वीडियो को पूरा देखा शुरू से लेकर आखिर तक, और नए आने वाले व्यूअर्स से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लें, घंटी और लाइक के बटन को पर क्लिक कर दें ताकि मेरी हर नई आने वाली वीडियो आप तक पहुंच सके और आप कानून से फ़ायदा हासिल कर सकें और इल्म हासिल कर सकें। बहुत शुक्रिया। अल्लाह हाफिज़।